Children's Stadium, everyone, the home of the Fresno State Bulldogs. And for a team whose mantra is anytime, any place, anywhere, it's always good to be home. And these fans have shown out for the clash we have ahead of us. We've got a sensational matchup for you. Fans have been filing in and getting ready for this game, as we'll see a squad from the ACC, the Syracuse Orange, taking on a team from the Mountain West, the Fresno State Bulldogs. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by a couple of legends, and yes, we do use that term loosely. David Pollack from the University of Georgia and former Gator Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's get down to the field. From inside his own 10, he'll try to help out their field position. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. So the Fresno State Bulldogs offense will go on the attack first. Three tight ends in the formation on 1st and 10. Handoff to the single back. Running hard and getting 6 yards out to the 26. And the Bulldogs in a good spot here with 2nd and short. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Boy, could they use a conversion on 3rd and short from their own 24. Back to pass, it's Bargava. Got him downfield. He'll have enough for the 1st down, and they stop him at the 45. Fresno State back to work with a fresh set of downs. Here's the handoff. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the 1st down line after picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. Wants to go up top. He let that thing fly quickly, but he couldn't make the connection. After the 2nd down misfire, looking at a 3rd and 8. From the gun, wants to pass. Makes the grab. Putting together a real scoring threat here as they pick up the 1st down at the 36. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be 2nd down. The give from the gun. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. With the catch, it's Charles. The stop is made right at the 36-yard line. The defense coming up big on 3rd down. Hunt is on its way. And he can't quite get it down or out of bounds. It's into the end zone for a touchback. So the Syracuse Orange will go on offense for the 1st time. To throw on 1st down. They needed a big play, and they got it, and the foot down for the 1st down. Syracuse right back at it.
A nice passing game by this offense. The quarterback and the receiver on the same page, in time, in rhythm, creates the big play. And look at it, they're right back on the football, ready to run another play.
Lost one on that last one in 2nd and 11.
And that's why he is an All-American caliber player. He is just so physical and dominant against the run. He's able to shed blockers, use his athleticism, use his speed, get to the ball carrier and bring him down. Simply one of the best box defenders you're going to find in the entire country.
And a missed opportunity on 3rd down as the defense knocks it free, and 4th down is coming up. The kick is on its way. Signals for the fair catch, and that's where they'll put it in play just outside the 20. Here comes the Fresno State offense onto the field. Man, David, that last drive, an exercise in frustration, just couldn't pay it off with the score.
Yeah, and I think this defense is riding the bend, but don't break philosophy. Don't give up explosive plays. This offense, Jesse, has to find your way to manufacture some big plays and some scoring opportunities.
Man, I don't know if they're going to win, David, if they have to keep driving 8, 10, 12 plays. You're right. You got to find chunk plays somewhere. So identify the guys that can score touchdowns and get them the ball.
To the air, it's Bargava. Here comes the heat. And the pass rush is effective, and they tackle him at the 19.
Well, you can see why this team thinks this kid has a real bright future. It's amazing. He's only a true freshman. He's not built like one, though, and you saw it on that last play. Trust me, that is the first of many sacks in this kid's collegiate career.
Fresno State will have to punt. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. He'll field the punt and look for room. Return's going to get it up around midfield. He'll be down at the 49-yard line. Off the play fake on first down. Pocket breaking down. Oh, and he took a shot as he threw that one away. Backed up now, here's second and long. After the incompletion, they go back up top. Works the middle. Terrific job getting to him. There was nowhere to go. Big third down here. They need to get the ball to the 41. He's got it down the middle. Third down conversions are huge, and they've got one, and they're at the 35.
And I don't know if this defense knows what just hit them because they gave up the completion, they gave up a first down, and now here's the offense back up at the line of scrimmage again, going tempo.
And he left the first defender grabbing at air before he was finally tackled.
The defense has got to do a better job with assignment football. Somebody has to be accounting for the quarterback on these run plays. You know you're going to see it. You've seen it on film. The option play, nobody home. He just takes off. That's an easy first down pickup for the offense. Moving forward now, the defense, they've got to settle in, and they've got to start playing better when it comes to assignment football.
He works his way ever closer all the way down to the 1-yard line. Looking for just one more yard. It's second and goal. They're going to run it. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Orange. Follow the blockers. The offensive line will take you to the hallelujah land.
And I tell you what, most of the time, Reese, it requires a little bit of skill to find that hole and, slither through a little crack. That was not a crack. That was wide open. Didn't take a lot of vision because the blocking was outstanding.
Getting set for the extra point after putting the scoreboard to work for the first time. And with the extra point, they get the first 7 of the game. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Hey, guys, got a final score in a big top 25 matchup today. Penn State was able to squeak one out in front of those home fans at Beaver Stadium. In fact, I think in the end, the difference may have been that Happy Valley crowd who leaves happy with the win. A top 25 clash and an impressive showing that could be a huge confidence builder for this program. Back to you.
Kevin, thanks a lot for that one. Sounds as if they had a good one there. They'll keep it on the ground. And he's very fortunate to get it back to the line of scrimmage, greeted by a sea of defenders. Back to pass, it's Bargava. He's going to let one fly down the middle. And that one's incomplete. They weren't just trying to move the chains. They were trying to move the scoreboard. Instead, it's fourth down. They boot it away. Not able to pop the big return, but they've got the ball back and ready to go with a fresh possession. The Orange have the ball back and ready to go to work. Already a solid start to this one. Now back to work with this 7-0 lead. They'll give it to the back. And a pickup of 8 opens a world of opportunities on 2nd and 2. Syracuse right back at it.
I like this idea by the offense going hurry up here. You just had a very nice run. Let's get back up to the line of scrimmage and go fast.
He'll pull it on the read. Breaks into the open. And that's a live ball. And they were lucky that fumble went out of bounds. They'll maintain possession. Now on first down from the 30. Gives it on the option. Wrestled down at the 26. It's a gain of 4. After the productive first down play, it's 2nd and 6.
And after that run, getting right back up to the line of scrimmage to go hurry up, defense has to be ready.
And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. The stop is made, but this offense is threatening. 1st and goal from the 9. Syracuse has a really nice drive going. He'll keep it himself. Right there to stop him, and that'll be a loss of 3. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Looking to fire. Quick strike complete. They'll get it down to the 8-yard line on that throw and catch, and the defense is backed up against the wall. They'll try to pass it in on 3rd and goal. Wideout trying to get it in. They got him the football, but he could not convert. It'll be 4th down. No sign of the punt team as they will go for it and try to move those chains. He's stopped, knocked down behind the line of scrimmage on 4th and goal, and they'll have it at the 3. Handoff to the lone back. Looks as if he'll work his way forward and get it up to about the 11-yard line. The Bulldogs can really attack on this 2nd and short. They go right back to it. Oh, better look out! Nowhere to go, and the ball is loose. Defense scoops it up, and he's headed the other way. He goes down after the short return, but what a play to get the football back.
It's raining in this game. It's making the football slick and slippery. And you know ball security is going to be a massive issue. Both coaching staffs have preached about that to their teams in the locker rooms before taking the field. And these guys really need to do a better job of holding on to the football.
Syracuse comes to the line on 1st and goal. They're going to run it. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Syracuse.
Man, this offense has started the season off so good. 1-0 a week ago, right? Now building on it again. Great job putting points on the board. It's still the first half, but this unit looks dialed in.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the extra point makes it 14-0. That's exactly what you want to do when you have that type of field position. Strike quickly, and they did. One play, and they put it on the board. From inside his own 10, let's see what he gets. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Fresno State takes over, and the offense will go back to work. Dropping back, it's Bargava. They haven't exactly burst out of the starting blocks, and they need to get something together with this possession. With the first down, they'll put it in play from the 33. Trying to move them on the counter. You want to make sure to maximize those types of runs, and he gets it out to the 41. And the Bulldogs with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. They'll go right back to it. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Fresno State back to work with a fresh set of downs. Looking for a physical attack from the gun. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Kept it on the ground on first down, now back to the line. Power football with the run. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. It's on target and complete. There to make the tackle, and that's how we'll wrap up this first period. Guys, we're at the end of the quarter, and Syracuse has the lead. Man, that was an impressive and dominant first quarter. Let's take a look at the stats before we move on. This could be a pivotal moment in this game as we open the second period and they try to find a way to answer. They've got a first down here to open the period. The offense changing the play. Toss to the outside. Big time play by the defense. He'll lose 4. The Bulldogs trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Second down, they'll go to the air. Always a welcome play for the defense as they get a sack at the 47.
And this offense, man, they're going to have to figure something out. This is already getting out of hand, but they're going to have to protect their quarterback. They're going to have to start throwing the football and having some success because right now they got a bagel up on the scoreboard.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Hits him in stride inside the 10. They make the tackle, but he's got a fresh set of downs, and it's 1st and goal from the 7.
I know this isn't the start the offense wanted. They don't have any points so far in this game, but sometimes it just takes one explosive play to turn things around. And after that beautiful completion deep for the offense, that should give them a little confidence, a little momentum. They've now got us to be able to score points on this drive.
He'll do it himself. And he runs it in for the score. Touchdown, Fresno State.
The defense has got to do a better job of taking the most dangerous man. That's the guy with the football in his hands. Force him to do something with it. You can't just let him keep the ball and go score.
The AT unit on the field. And after the extra point, they've cut the lead in half, down 14-7. They're set to kick it off, and this crowd now ready to get behind them. Here he comes from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. The Syracuse offense heads back onto the field. They had to stand by and watch that scoring march, and now it's up to them to find a way to answer it. A little more space, open up that playbook even more as they pick up the first down out to the 30.
And it's frustrating as a defense when you give up that first down and you give up that pass play. But here we go with this offense. They're right back on the ball. You got to flush that, you got to get lined up, and you got to communicate.
Finds his way for 3 out to the 33. Syracuse right back at it.
Defense came into this one knowing they were going to see some tempo. They've got to get the call from the sidelines, get it communicated, get lined up.
And they'll wrestle him to the ground after a short gain. They'll try to drive ahead on 3rd and short. They got 0 push up front, and they stopped him in the backfield. Syracuse will send out the punt team. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. They'll get down and put a stop to this return. They'll mark it at the 32. Here comes the Fresno State offense onto the field. That last drive, an absolute aerial assault for the touchdown, Jesse.
But it was a nice job in play calling too, David, just giving the quarterback some easy looks and reads so he could go out and execute.
And he knew exactly where to go with the football. Everything looked really, really easy. He was hot. The ball was coming out of his hands. The defense better do something different.
And the defense makes the immediate tackle, but he has enough for the first down. Out of the gun, the running back has it. Picks up the first down. And he's brought down after a nice gain. And the Bulldogs will line it up on 1st and 10. Running to the left. And he is going to lose yardage. Nowhere to run as he is forced out of bounds.
I get it. It wasn't going to be a positive play. You weren't going to get a lot of yards, but I'd love to see you stick it up in there and hit somebody and finish the play with some physicality and at least pick up one or two.
As long as you don't lose the football. It's already a bad play. Just don't make things worse.
Coach Rick used to say, don't turn a bad play into a catastrophe.
Now facing a 3rd and long. Looking to throw, it's Bargava. Oh, they're after him. He'll just throw it away, and it'll be 4th down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Fresno State will have to punt it away. They'll look to pin him deep. Special teams coming through as they pin him back. They'll mark it dead at the 10. The Orange have the ball back and ready to go to work. Here's another opportunity, Jesse, to stretch out this lead after punting last time.
I think it goes back to your playmakers, Reese. I think it's finding the guys that have been working for you earlier on in this game and getting them the football.
Yeah, and there's obviously no need to panic. I mean, think about it. You got the lead. You got the football. You got to be smart with the football, make your plays, put a good drive together here.
You've got to have better ball security on offense. The football possession, that is priceless. Losing possession, turning the ball over, that kills you in games, that loses games, and that is a bad, bad play at a bad time.
They'll go back to work on offense. They're going to open this drive with a pass. Pressure coming. Oh, it's out. Once that ball was loose, offense didn't have a chance. Defenders everywhere. It's a turnover.
And he was under so much duress on that play. You saw him scrambling, trying to buy time, doing everything he can to keep the play alive, but the defense just kept coming in waves, and he got a little bit downfield before they finally knocked it out and jumped on that fumble.
The Syracuse offense heads back onto the field. That last drive and the turnover, not what you're looking for when you have the lead, Jesse.
Yeah, and really I think for them, it's just staying out of their own way. They're making plays. They've got the playmakers to go and win this game, so it's just a matter of executing better.
Executing better, understanding I still got the lead. Put a drive together here and build on that lead.
Quarterback on the keeper. Finds just enough daylight to work his way up to the 19-yard line. Syracuse right back at it. They'll try to move the chains on the ground. This offense has a little room and a fresh set of downs at the 23.
Well, their defense did a great job deep in their own end, right? Getting the turnover on downs, and now the offense is starting to pay that off. On the 3rd play of this drive, 3rd down, they're able to run it, pick up the first, they stay on the field, and they're going to try and churn this thing out.
Finds his way ahead for 5, and now they've got it at the 28.
And you're seeing the offense now mix up the tempos. After a successful run, they're now going hurry up.
Fighting off the defender. He's got enough for the first down. They'll spot it at the 37. Syracuse has a really nice drive going.
Great job by the offense, understanding where the sticks are. And look, they got the first down, and they're like, all right, let's crank this tempo up now. We got first down. Let's go fast.
Didn't pick up a lot there. Moved it forward just a few. So now it's 2nd and long. Back to pass. Not able to hook up there. Incomplete. The Orange with a lot of work to do on 3rd and long. They'll ride the running back and leave it with him. He just refused to go down. Kept finding space and picked up 7. It'll be 4th and 1. Trying to keep this drive alive. Find some fresh air. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a first down. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one.
4th and 1, I got to know my situation. I got to know I can't mess around as a running back. I got to get through the hole, make the first down, no matter what. If I got to run somebody over, I'm running straight downhill, straight for those sticks, making sure I get that first down.
They say you could call holding on every play. Well, they did on that one. keeping it on the ground with the single back. Stop behind the line, he'll lose a yard. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Orange just need to get some of that yardage back here on second down. They go to the ground. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Third and long from the 42. If they can get some of it, it might give them a chance to go for it on fourth down. And just a short, safe pass play, they pick up a few. The Orange will have to punt. A fairly short distance here toward the sidelines, not his best work. Fresno State takes over and the offense will go back to work. Ball security going to be paramount this time, Jesse.
Yeah, and sense of urgency, too. They're trailing in this game right now. The turnover wasn't great, so David, they really got to be able to put something positive together on this drive.
Put something positive together, be aggressive, but don't be reckless. Can't have any more of those turnovers.
A little bit more to go after that last completion. They'll try to pick it up on second down. They want to run this quarterback. This freshman makes the stop after a short gain. The Bulldogs line up trying to move the sticks on third and short. Looks as if he's going to run it. They thought they could just run it on third and short, but this defense was there to make the stop. Another punt on the way. Got to make sure those hammies and glutes all activated. Don't want any muscle pulls from overuse. He'll get it to about the 25 before they put a stop to the return. The Orange have the ball back and ready to go to work. To the air on first down. He's got an open man. And he's brought down after a nice gain. Syracuse right back at it.
All right, defense, you got to turn the page. You just gave up an explosive play through the air, but here comes the offense going quickly. You got to get lined up now and get ready for another one.
Oh, he's got some space. Good pick up there. They'll move the chains, and they're set up at the 41. They've come out with answers on this possession, and now another first down. He'll pull it on the read. Got the first down and more. He stops him at the 31, but not before. He picks up 10 yards on the play.
This is an offense that can move the sticks in a whole lot of different ways. Now you're seeing it on the option here. Great job by the quarterback. Reading the defense, there's nobody there taking him, so he puts his foot in the ground, he gets upfield, and he's got really nice elusiveness once he's out in the open field. He shows you that on that explosive play, picking up the first.
Going to the ground. He's going to lose a yard on that one. The negative play leaves him with second and 12.
Nice job by this defense creating that negative play. That's what all defenses want to do. But look at this. This offense, they ain't scared. Right back on the ball, ready to run another play, ready to make this defense work.
They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. Trying to move the sticks on third down through the air. And the incomplete pass will bring up fourth down. And they'll send out the field goal unit. And he'll try to knock it through from 33 yards out. It's good. Easy call for the refs. And now the lead is extended a little further.
And listen, y'all know in the booth and everywhere how I feel about kickers. Don't always love leaving it on their foot, so to speak, but nice job executing. He keeps doing stuff like that. I'll keep trotting him out there.
And he'll bring it back. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. Here comes the Fresno State offense onto the field. That deficit has now grown to double digits, down 17-7 as they start this drive. They'll knock him down after a 6-yard gain to the 27. And the Bulldogs can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Hand off from the shotgun. And he doesn't find much running room, a short gain on the play. Ball spotted at the 29. Here they come on third and short. They'll stick to the ground looking for the marker. And they get the third down stop. What a play by this defense. Fresno State will have to punt. Might have thought he'd want to try to pick up a few yards there, but he's content with making the fair catch right around the 35-yard line. Looking to throw on first down. Just gets rid of it to the running back underneath. He makes the stop almost as soon as he catches it, and they're short of the first down. The give to the tailback. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43. They'll try to power their way ahead. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Syracuse will be forced to punt. Calls for and makes the fair catch, but there is a penalty flag down, and we'll see what this is about.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Out of the gun, the inside give. Got enough for the first, and he's still going. Good execution. They move the sticks, and they've got it at the 33. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. Syracuse ready to go to work with another first down. Give to the single back. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. The offense will quickly use a timeout. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Wants to go up top. Quick completion on the out. And the defense had that one well covered. Just a short gain there. Running out of time here in the first half. They're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. Just outside the red zone as they pick up the first down. They'll spot it at the 22. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays. And the kicker delivers the 3 to salvage that drive. And that will extend their lead even further. So they get the late field goal right before the half, and not much time after this kickoff for an answer. On the move from inside is 5. Coverage team there to make the stop. They avoid disaster, and that's the end of the first half. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
Thanks, guys. Looks like we've got a terrific scene there today in Fresno. And talk about a first half for the dude in that backfield. That coaching staff has been giving rave reviews on a weekly basis. And through 2 quarters today, he's been a complete game changer. He's breaking the will of this defense, and that's something that's just very tough to quantify. And with that, let's send it back to the guys inside Valley Children's Stadium.
Fresno State lined up to kick off and start this second half. On the run from inside his own 5. And the coverage team able to wrestle him down. The Syracuse offense heads back onto the field. They'll start the third quarter with the run. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, the defense was trailing going in at halftime, and I think they made some adjustments against the run. They want to slow this guy down. That's a really nice start to the second half if you're on defense.
He's got it. And there might have been trouble if they hadn't gotten to him immediately. The Orange now facing a 3rd and short. From the gun, wants to pass. Finds his big tight end. He goes out of bounds just short of the 30 at the 29-yard line, and when you're backed up, execution like that at a premium. Shakes off the defender.
Well, they try to go quarterback design run on that play, but the defense just not buying it. Nice job, everybody playing downhill and making a tackle close to the line of scrimmage.
Here comes the offense on second down. He'll keep it himself. Past the sticks, and he may get more. They make the stop, but he'll have enough yardage for a first down.
Well, the defense did a pretty good job that time on the option play of having someone dedicating themselves to the quarterback to get him down. Not enough to stop the offense from picking up the first down, though. The defense really needs to be keyed in on this because they're going to see this option play more and more as this game goes on.
Wants to fire on second down. Right on the money. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch.
It's a nice play call there. You've got 2-possession lead. You're trying to keep the defense guessing, right? Because you've got that lead, they know you're going to run it, but you still have got to be able to sprinkle in some shot plays and some vertical throws. That was really, really good thinking on that last play call by the offense.
And that wasn't a big game, but look at the offense. Right back on the ball, ready to call a play, ready to go fast.
And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Finds a man on the left. He goes out of bounds across the 25, mark it at the 24, and this defense, its head is spinning. Looking to throw on first down. It's complete to the right. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Syracuse right back at it. He'll do it himself. Got some room, headed to the goal line. He'll get that one all the way down to the 4-yard line before he stopped. Syracuse comes to the line on first and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. He steps and powers and works his way. They finally get him down at the 2. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They've moved it forward to the 2. Now it's second and goal. Tries again to get it in. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Cuse.
And that's 3 touchdowns in 2 games. Just continuing to find the end zone, continuing to make plays. This guy is on pace for a great season. He's putting the college football world on notice.
Ready to try the point after. And the extra point is good, and the lead moves to 20. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Guys, let's get you up to speed on what's going down in this fun college football game today. Baylor is having its way offensively, just marching up and down the field at a breathtaking pace. They're up by 32 over Ball State. We'll circle back if anything big happens you should know about.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us.
And I love playing man coverage on the back end, getting in those receivers' faces. Don't let them feel comfortable and run zone where they can find all these holes in the zone and my rush can't get home. Pressure them, pressure them, pressure them.
The Bulldogs now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Wants to throw. It's Bargava. Flips it out in the flat. The defense wouldn't let him loose, and even though it's a completion, they lost yardage. And this offense can ill afford to come up empty on this drive, already trailing by multiple possessions. He hurls one deep down the left side. And it's lofted toward the sideline and intercepted.
And that's such a great job of seeing the play, seeing it unfold, breaking on the football, making the interception, and you will absolutely never forget getting that first career INT, that big play, that big moment.
The Orange have the ball back and ready to go to work. And what a drive that was the last time they had it. Basically the length of the field. Much better starting point this time. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Looking to fire. And the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hit. Syracuse needs to come up with a big third down play to keep the drive going. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the right. Another incompletion on third down. And here comes the punt team. And no chance for the return man to get his hands on that one as it hops out of bounds. Here comes the offense onto the field again. From the gun, running back on the move. They finally get him stopped, and this veteran junior running back comes up with a nice play. After that big gainer to open things up, they'll put it in play from the 40. Back to throw, it's Bargava. Rushes on him. Couldn't find anybody to throw to. He'll just toss it away. It'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Gonna swing it on second down. They've got the screen set up. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. This defense will try to force a fourth down on third and short from the 45. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. Fourth down coming up. Fresno State will have to punt it away. He makes the fair catch, and they'll spot the ball at the 18. The Syracuse offense heads back onto the field. They had this thing in a hammerlock at halftime, and now they are really ratcheting up the pressure, David.
And I tell you what, this offense doesn't have to change a thing, Palmer. They've done what they wanted in the first half and starting off the second half in the same fashion.
And I like how they're letting different guys get involved, too. They've got so many different playmakers all over the field.
Got his man in the middle. He's got enough to give Syracuse the first down. Last completion moved the sticks, and let's see if they try it again. Quarterback on the keeper. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. Last play was a near disaster, now dealing with second and 13. Back to pass. They'll throw it to the back on the screen. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a first down. It's third down from their own 34 as they try to keep the drive moving. Snagged out of the air. And he gets it to the 45-yard line, and that'll be a first down. Syracuse has a really nice drive going. They'll go to the counter play. Shows him the stiff arm.
You know, you better form tackle better on defense. You had a chance to make a big play, missed the running back, and as a result, he's getting positive yards. Defense has to do a better job of finishing.
And he didn't have a whole lot of operating room after the juke, and he stopped for a short gain.
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. If you've got the lead in the third quarter and you want to keep it, you got to bleed the clock. Best way to do that, run the football. And you're now seeing this offense call these run plays back to back. They are trying to be physical, and they're trying to stay on the field. And, David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively, too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successful.
There was just nowhere to cut back. Great job by the defense, and he'll have to take the loss. The Orange just need to get some of that yardage back here on second down. Wants to go up top. Gets it out fast. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Orange with a lot of work to do on 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Firing to the right, complete. Really good surge for this offense. They move the chains, and he's got it at the 34.
That's a great job by the wide receiver there on a critical down. 3rd down, running the curl route, coming back to the football, making the catch, and picking up the first.
Just keep slinging it. Working that left side now. And a good job of coverage by that defense. Just a short pickup. Long drive continues as the offense keeps working the ball down the field. Hands it off. Got it inside the 30 before he's finally pulled down at the 25. It's a gain of 6. On 3rd and short, they keep it on the ground here. He didn't get it. Not only that, he lost yardage. And this kicker is turning into old reliable. He's already knocked through a couple today. Just drives it between the uprights. Hold on just a second, guys. Flag on the play.
Roughing the kicker. Defense.
This could turn out to be a huge penalty. Thought they were going to have to settle for 3, and now the offense back on the field with a chance for more. The offense will gladly take a fresh set of downs after the penalty. They'll leave it with him. He's brought down at the 7-yard line, and they are threatening to take it in. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. From the gun, the ground game. And he has had a long day at the office, not to mention the backfield, as the defense has been all over him. They'll try to pick up the first through the air. Pass is broken up, incomplete as they were trying to strike for 6. So this field goal unit has been getting the job done. They've already made a couple here today. Absolutely perfect. And now the lead is even bigger.
Syracuse 30. Fresno State 7.
They keep pushing that lead out, and the kickoff team's getting some work. Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Back to throw, it's Bargava. Rifles it down the middle. Snags it down the right side. And that tackle almost certainly saved a touchdown after he ripped off a huge gain.
Well, I know they're losing right now, but they're not going to be losing for long if they keep hitting shots like that. And I love the idea here, taking a shot to your best player on offense. This guy is one of the biggest playmakers in all of college football. Tremendous speed. He locates the ball, makes a catch, and that play gives this offense so much confidence.
We've come to the break, and it's Syracuse on top. And they've built a comfortable lead after 3 quarters of play. Let's take a look at how we've gotten here. One more period to go, and we'll see just how much fight they've got left in them. Final stands of the game, and we'll start with the first down. Looking downfield on first down. Punts it out of the air. And they'll shove him out of bounds after the short gain. They're dealing with a 2nd and long.
Brings up 2nd down.
Looking to fire. Just a short pass to the tight end. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down.
Brings up 3rd down.
They'll try to pick it up on the ground. They get him down, but they'll mark it beyond the line to gain. It's first down, Fresno State. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Wants to go up top on first down. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? The give to the back. They'll give him maybe 1 on the play. It's down to the 20. They've got it right on the edge of the red zone, but they face a 3rd and long. Looking for a man. It's Bargava. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Tight end finds a soft spot. He goes out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. Fresno State back to work with a fresh set of downs. got his man quickly. That completion takes them down to the 7-yard line, and they are ready to strike. The play-action fake. Bringing the heat. And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete. Not a lot of ground to cover and not much to defend. A big third down in the red zone. Under fire. Finds his big tight end. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one. Might as well go big or go home. They need a touchdown, and it looks like they're on their way home anyway. They'll go for it on 4th down. Here's the pressure. Got away from trouble and got rid of it. Into the house. Touchdown, Bulldogs!
Really nice job by the quarterback getting through his progression. He wanted to throw that football down the field, but nobody was open. He never forgot about his running back, running the swing route, spitting it out to the perimeter, and letting him do the rest for a touchdown.
Here comes the 2-point try. He's looking to throw. Into the end zone for the 2-point conversion, and now they trail by just 15. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score. From inside the 10-yard line, he'll bring it back. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. To the ground with the back. That'll be a gain of 5 out to the 27. Syracuse right back at it.
It's a point in the game, I think, as a coaching staff where you really challenge your offensive line to go win the football game, right? We've got to lead late. We're going to run the football. And the defense and everybody in the stadium knows that's what's going to happen. Can we run the ball down their throats and impose our will? That's what this offense right now is trying to do.
Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. On target to the left. All by himself down the middle. Touchdown, Orange. And the stomping has commenced.
There's no mercy rule in college football, man. They have got a huge lead here in the 4th quarter. They are still chucking it, and they are still scoring.
On to attempt the try.
The kicker is on for the extra point.
The kick is up and good and put 1 more on the lead. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Guys, back to your game in a moment, but first we have to show you how the script is being written here. Arizona State is having its way offensively, just marching up and down the field at a breathtaking pace. They're up by 35 over Toledo.
That's caught. It's crossed.
We'll circle back if anything changes in this exciting college football matchup.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Dropping back, it's Bargava. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be 3rd down. We'll see if they go back to the air after the incompletion. It's 3rd and 5. Looking to throw on 3rd. Gets it out quickly. Just what they were looking for to get this drive rolling. They're out to the 35. He wants to throw it again. Catch in the middle. It's Hawk. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see if it stands.
Holding. Offense.
A very productive play until it was wiped out by that penalty, and they'll go back to work. Looking to throw. Makes the grab. And he's knocked down immediately, but a good pickup on that play. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. Back to pass. Under fire. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face third down. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. They make the tackle at the 36. Let's see if they bring out the punt team. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Down by multiple possessions, you can't come up empty on this drive. They'll go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Intercepted. Man, they just can't get anything going. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
And that's a really good job by the defense, understanding the situation of football. It's fourth down. It's late in the game. You got a multi-possession lead. Take away all the deep stuff. Make them force the football into coverage. They do, and they stamp this game.
The Orange have the ball back and ready to go to work. There have been few obstacles for this offense as they are starting to pull away here in the second half, Jesse.
And this has been a dream game for this play caller too, right? It's like anything that he's calling is working flawlessly.
Yeah, it's fun to be the offensive coordinator, but not the defensive coordinator. They have had no answers. It's been an absolutely miserable day trying to solve the riddle of this offense.
Offense has a huge lead right now in the fourth quarter, and they're just going to run this football to try to ice the game, being more dominant, being more physical at the point of attack.
They'll ride the hot hand. And this one will be stopped for no gain. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Wants to go up top. Here's a heat. Out of the backfield, he's open. Made a defender miss. So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be 1st and goal for this offense. He's been so locked in, it seems like any pass called is a guaranteed chunk play.
Yeah, and winning late like this in the ball game, keep trusting him, keep spinning. You know why? Because stats matter late in the game. You want some postseason awards? Keep chucking it, keep getting those stats.
And the D deny them on 2nd and goal. Tries to do it himself on the draw. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. They love to make this short field pay off with a touchdown instead of a field goal, but it's 3rd and goal. Looking for the goal line. Touchdown, Syracuse. That's the way you finish a drive and put up points.
And this offense continuing to put up points. This game's out of reach. You know you're going to win, but still throwing the football, still finding that connection. I imagine there'll be some salty handshakes at the end of this game.
Lining up for the PAT. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead.
44, Fresno State, 15.
And he takes this from inside the 5. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Fresno State takes over, and the offense will go back to work. Threw a pick the last time they had it. They'll try to be more productive this time around. To throw, it's Spargava. Using the quick game. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And the Bulldogs with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Off play action. He's going to throw deep right side. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. The Bulldogs really need to keep this drive alive on 3rd down. They'll try to get the first through the air. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26.
As a defensive lineman, let me tell you something. This is hunting season. This is when you pin your ears back and you absolutely fly to the quarterback, and you can see it. They know it's pass, and they get to him again.
Down in the fourth quarter, it's too late for empty possessions. They'll go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Looking to scramble. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26.
He had nowhere to go with the football. Fourth down, you know he wants to make a play. I'd like for him to throw it up, to be honest. Try to give somebody an opportunity to make a play. Who cares if I throw a pick? It's fourth down anyways, but couldn't find anybody to get the ball off. Defense surrounds him, gets him to the ground with the sack.
This offense has it with really good field position. The handoff, keep working on that clock. He never had a chance on the draw, tackled almost as soon as he got the ball. To the air on second down. Unloads it left. Makes a connection. The tackle is made, but he's got it first and goal from the 6. New set of downs right on the doorstep for this offense. They'll run it on first and goal. And we have breaking news. They score yet another touchdown.
After that amazing performance in week 1, this offense wasn't content. They felt like they left some plays out on the field, even though they were able to get that win. I feel like they've taken another step. They've raised their intensity level. They've raised their execution. This team is going to be a contender this year. You can just feel it.
And he did get that extra point through the slippery surface, no problem. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd.
Fresno State, 15.
The returner's going to try to see what he can get, and they'll bring him down to get the offense started on the next drive. If you want to look on the bright side, at least you can pile up a bunch of yards if you can move the ball, because it is a long way to the end zone. Quarterback needs to make a better throw there. Incomplete. Behind the chains now on second and long. Makes the catch. It's crossed.
And I don't like the play call, guys. Screen pass at this point in the game against the defense, playing big zones, prevent, trying to keep the ball in front. It's just not going to work. You've got to take shots offensively.
Off the play fake. Finds his man. It's Hawk. And he was knocked down immediately short of the line to gain. They'll have to make a decision here. Fresno State will have to punt. Let's see if he can help the coverage team out with this one. Really good job by the coverage team to make the stop, and that's where they'll put it in play. The Syracuse offense heads back onto the field. What a feeling this has to be, David, in complete control and headed toward victory formation.
Yeah, no stress, under a couple minutes left in the ball game. Well in hand. These are the ones, Jesse, you like to just run the clock, take a knee, whatever you want.
No doubt. They're going to love watching this game film, too. There's just so many positives to take away from this, and this is the kind of performance today that is really going to help this offense's confidence.
With the clock running, this should be the final play. Defense might bring the house here. Turning it on! And that is how we will wrap this one up. Well, they say you win a few, you lose a few, and some get rained out. Would have been good for this team if this one had gotten rained out because they lost badly.
Yeah, not a lot to be too proud about in this one here. Good news is you get to go back to the drawing board. You get to go back, you get to have another week of practice as a coaching staff, try and find ways to get players in position to go out and make plays. Going to need a big locker room speech after this one, David.
Yeah, and you're going to watch this tape, and it's going to hurt because you're going to watch them with coaches, and you're going to see the mess-ups and all the things you could have done better, but you got to learn from it. You got to get better. You got to grow, and that's how that works.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.